Think you know horses? Get ready to be surprised. These 6 rare horse breeds from Argentina are ones you've probably never even heard of. From the smallest horse in the world, barely taller than a large dog, to a powerful draft horse that once carried an entire nation's economy, each breed holds a story that's nothing short of incredible. Argentina isn't just about tango and soccer. It's also home to living legends born of wild terrain and rich history. Number 6. Pampas Horse. They don't have fancy papers, pedigrees, or championship titles, but to Argentinians, the Pampas Horse is the very soul of the plains. These horses have lived side by side with the gauchos for centuries, symbolizing wild spirit, resilience, and pure survival instinct. The Pampas Horse isn't an officially recognized breed. It's more of a collection of semi-wild Criollo horses, either born in the wild or naturally domesticated over generations. They're built to keep moving, crossing endless grasslands, pushing through marshes, and surviving in the harshest conditions. Standing around 58 to 62 inches at the withers, roughly 4.8 to 5.2 feet, they're lean, fast, tough, and fiercely independent. Why only number 6? Because genetically speaking, they're not a clearly defined breed. They're shaped by nature, not by breeding programs. And while they're deeply tied to Argentina's folk culture, they don't hold national breed status or benefit from official conservation, like others on this list. That said, compared to the American Mustang, Pampas horses are less wild, more approachable, and easier to train. And when compared to Mongolia's horses, they may not endure frozen steppes, but their connection to the people is arguably stronger than anywhere else in the world. And if you think a horse has to live wild and free to be powerful, just wait until you meet the next one, where real strength comes from bloodline and tradition. Number 5. Argentine Criollo Horse. If there's any horse on earth that can travel over 1,000 miles with barely a break, it's the Criollo, a battle-hardened warrior shaped by wind, dust, and time. Descended from Spanish horses left behind in the 1500s, the Criollo isn't Argentina's national horse because it's beautiful. It's revered because it simply refuses to quit. Medium-sized and compact, they stand around 58 to 60 inches at the withers, about 4.8 to 5 feet. With solid frames, thick necks, and powerful hindquarters. They gained fame through brutal endurance trials like La Marcha, where horses must cover nearly 750 miles in just over 2 weeks under minimal conditions, and still cross the finish line strong. So why is it only number 5? Because while the Criollo is insanely tough and holds deep cultural value, it's also relatively well known around the world. That widespread recognition takes away a bit of the mystery. And this list is all about the rare, the hidden, and the overlooked. When compared to the Akaltek of Turkmenistan, the Criollo may lack the mythical golden sheen, but it easily outlasts it on varied terrain. Next to Norway's fjord horse, the Criollo is less picturesque, but far more durable in punishing environments. Every breed has its own magic, but Criollo represents South America's spirit of grit, endurance, and no-nonsense resilience. And if you think the Criollo is the peak of old-world toughness, wait until you meet the next horse. It carries the bloodline of warriors and kings. Number 4. Argentine Andalusian Horse. Some horses impress you with sheer power. Others make you stop and stare just by their presence. The Argentine Andalusian is one of those, a true aristocrat, carrying the classical beauty of Europe and the commanding grace of a battlefield general. Their roots trace back to the original Andalusian horses of Spain, brought to Argentina during the colonial era. Over time, these horses were carefully bred and refined to adapt to South America's landscapes, while still retaining their royal bloodlines, high-stepping gaits, flowing manes, and movements that look more like dance than motion. Highly intelligent and easy to train, they're often chosen for parades, performances, and ceremonial riding, where poise and dignity take center stage. So why does this royal beauty only land at number 4? Because while its Spanish heritage is strong and its looks are breathtaking, the breed itself wasn't fully developed in Argentina. Its role is more ornamental and symbolic, less tied to everyday life or the rugged identity of Argentina's native horse culture. Compared to India's Marwari horse, the Andalusian lacks those signature curved ears, but offers far superior balance and grace in movement. Next to the Portuguese Lusitano, both exude nobility, but the Argentine version tends to be stockier and more robust, a nod to the tougher, wind-beaten terrain of the Pampas. Its beauty will stop you in your tracks. But the next horse? It's all about speed, fire, and the unshakable will to win. Number 3. Argentinian Thoroughbred Horse. If you've ever seen a horse take off like lightning, then stop on a dime with pinpoint precision, chances are you were watching an Argentinian Thoroughbred. These horses weren't just bred to run, they were built to win. Originally descended from the legendary English Thoroughbreds, Argentina has taken the breed and refined it with its own unique approach. With elite European bloodlines, tough tropical training conditions, and a no-excuses breeding culture, the Argentinian Thoroughbred is a perfect storm of speed, stamina, and steel nerves. They typically stand 62 to 66 inches at the withers, around 5.2 to 5.5 feet, with a lean frame, defined muscle tone, and the kind of movement that looks like they're slicing through the air. The top performers go straight to professional racetracks or speed-demanding sports like polo, where every second counts. So why only number 3? Because even though these horses dominate in sport and have earned global fame, they don't carry the same deep-rooted cultural identity as other native Argentine breeds. Their value lies more in performance and modern breeding science, less in tradition or folklore. But not every race is won with raw speed. Sometimes victory comes from explosive reflexes, tight turns, and instant acceleration. And that kind of brilliance is exactly what's waiting for you in spot number 2. Number 2, Argentine Quarter Horse. Fast, agile, powerful, and incredibly smart, the Argentine Quarter Horse is the top pick for anyone who needs lightning reflexes and total control. A cross between the classic American Quarter Horse and Argentina's own Criollo bloodlines, this breed hits the sweet spot between raw strength, endurance, and explosive speed. Standing around 58 to 62 inches at the withers, roughly 4.8 to 5.2 feet, these horses are muscular, short-backed, and wide-hipped, built for short-distance sprints, rodeo work, polo, and herding. What really sets them apart is their uncanny responsiveness. One slight shift in your hand or seat, and they're already reacting, like they can read your mind. But in the number 1 spot, we're not talking about muscle, speed, or brute force. The next horse will surprise you, because sometimes the smallest thing carries the greatest weight. Number 1, Falabella Horse. The Falabella is a miniature horse breed that originated in Argentina, first developed in the 19th century by the Falabella family through generations of meticulous selective breeding. Though it's no bigger than a large dog, the Falabella carries the full genetic blueprint of a true horse, from its gait and muscle structure to its intelligent, lively, and independent personality. They typically stand only 28 to 34 inches at the withers, about 2.3 to 2.8 feet, and weigh between 150 and 250 pounds. While they're far too small to be ridden like a regular horse, Falabellas are cherished as premium companion animals, therapy pets, or rare living treasures for those who value biological heritage. That's why the Falabella earns the number 1 spot. Not for its strength, speed, or imposing presence, but because it reminds us that true value doesn't come from size or medals. It comes from survival, adaptability, and the power to touch people's hearts by simply being different. Because in the vast world of horses, some are made to be ridden, some to compete, but only a few make us stop, smile, and quietly say, "That's magic."